Hello guys and welcome to the first month of my YouTube book club. As I told you last time, this month's book was The Fine Print. Now, I really like this book. I had seen it go viral on TikTok, and for my 21st birthday, my friend bought me this book, and I'm now 22 and a half. So it took me a year and a half to read it, but it's been read. I've read it. Good book. Loved it. So yeah, we're just going to go into some discussions about it, obviously. As we're talking about books, I suggest you grab a cuppa, maybe even bicker. Yeah, and sit down and we'll have some fun, yeah? Stop what you're doing. I know I've just told you to grab a cuppa, so while you're making your cuppa, listen to this message. Please feel free to leave your thoughts and feelings about the book in the comments, and also drop a like and subscribe because you love me and you fancied it. Do you know what I mean? The book was first released on July 8th, 2021, and it is book 1 in the Dreamland Billionaires series. It's an adult romance with the following tropes: grumpy sunshine, boss employee, billionaire hero, and hidden identity. The book gets a 4.1 stars on Amazon and 3.8 stars on Goodreads. The book follows a dual POV switching between chapters, and it also comes with a book playlist featuring songs like Ain't No Rest for the Wicked by Cage the Elephant, From Eden by Hosier, Are You Mine by the Arctic Monkeys, Landslide by Fleetwood Mac, and Dreams by the Cranberries, and a lot more songs as well. Those are just a couple that I picked out. So, to talk about the book, I'm breaking it up into 3 main parts. And if you haven't read the book yet, I suggest you leave this video and come back later because I'm about to spoil some okay? So part 1 is going to be up to the first time they kiss. Part 2 is going to be the first kiss to just as they go to New York, and then the last part is going to be the trip to New York and then all the way through to the end. So, part 1. We open the book with Rowan Kane, the main male character. We find out that he's at his grandfather, Brady Kane's funeral. We also meet his 2 brothers, Cal and Declan, who, if you don't know, are the 2 main male characters in the other 2 books in the Dreamland Billionaire series. The whole series follows the 3 brothers. At the end of the funeral, they're each given a letter detailing what they need to do to get their grandfather's inheritance, which, by the way, is a fortune. So I'm also going to be referring to pages in the book whilst I go through some notes. So I didn't realise how difficult this would be one-handed. I guess that's on me for being stupid. Right, here you go. So you've each been given a task to complete to receive your percentage of the company after my death. So to you, Rowan, the dreamer who stopped dreaming, I ask you one thing. Become the director of Dreamland and bring the magic back. To receive your 18% of the company, you will be expected to become the director and spearhead of a unique product for me for 6 months. I want you to identify Dreamland's weakness and develop a renovation plan worthy of my legacy. I know you're the right man for this job because there's no one I trust who loves creating more than you, even though you lost touch of that side of yourself over the years. Obviously, that means Rowan's got to go to Dreamland. Okay, he hasn't been there in yonks. To start off, he thinks, oh, do you know what? I'll hold a little meeting. Yeah, I'll gather everybody who works here and introduce myself. So that's what he does. So as the meeting starts, it started, right? Rowan is sat in the audience whilst somebody else from Dreamland is starting the meeting because he just wants to get a vibe for it. Do you know what I mean? He's got a vibe check. Obviously, it started, yeah, and somebody walks in late. Not good enough. A younger brunette woman slides through the small crack before shutting it softly behind her. I look down at my watch. Who is she and why is she 20 minutes late? Clock her, Rowan, clock her. She clutches onto a neon pink penny skateboard with one golden brown arm as she scans the packed room. I take advantage of her distraction to assess her. She's beautiful in a way that makes it difficult to refocus my attention on the conversation at the front of the room. I hate it, yet I can't look away. My eyes trace the curves of her body, drawing a path from her delicate throat to her thick thighs. The speed of my heart picks up. You thirsty... This is the first time you're looking at this woman. You thirsty man. I clench my hands into 2 fists, disliking the lack of control I have over my body. Get a hold of yourself. Yeah, Rowan, get a hold of yourself. A lock of dark hair falls in front of her eyes. She tucks it behind an ear decked out in gold piercings. As she senses my gaze, her eyes land on me, or more so the empty seat next to me. This is where we meet our female main character, Zara, who, by the way, I love Zara. She clocks him constantly, and do you know what I mean? We always need a girl to put a man in his place because these men be getting too they're just too confident nowadays. You've got to put them in their place. Anyway, obviously she notices the only free seat is next to him, so she's like, oh, excuse me, can I get past you? And he's like, oh yeah, sure babe, and scoots himself back a little bit, but then she tries to pick up her foot and like move it over here so like she can like clamber over him, and he moves his foot at the wrong time and she falls over. But psh, typical rom-com book trope, right? She falls over, she lands splat face first, hand almost on. It's a thing, okay? Oh, typical romance novel. And do you know what? I'm so here for it. I love it. So then obviously we find out from an employee sat in front of them that her name is in fact Zara. I've already told you that. Who cares? But that's when Rowan finds out that her name is Zara. Anyway, the lady at the front is still like chatting. She's gossiping away to this like room of people, yeah. Zara starts like whispering under her breath. Yeah, she's like, oh, corporate, I hate them. Oh, they're a bunch of pigs. Hey. Do you know what I mean? Like she's getting rowdy, yeah. And Rowan hears her and he's like, oh, talk, yeah, speak louder, speak up, clock them. Do you know what I mean? And she just starts slating the higher ups, and I'm like, yes, queen, go. Obviously at this point she's got no idea who Rowan is, so he's like, you're like clocking me, but you don't know that you're clocking me. And it's like, oh, iconic. I love it. It's also at this point that Zara name drops Brady. Okay, she doesn't say like Mr. Kane or anything. She calls him Brady, okay, which to Rowan is like, oh, fuck are you calling my granddad by his name? And he's not a fan. Anyway, they're like bickering. Yeah, they've got that little like flirty, like romantic, beef with each other. She pinches him, he threatens to fire her, you know. It's an enemies to lovers book, and I love it. So it's at this point that Rowan is like, oh, where the do you work? Like, what department do you work in so I know how to fire you? And we find out that Zara is in fact a beautician at the Magic Wand salon. To which Rowan replies, great, so at least you don't do anything important enough to be missed. Now, I don't know if you've seen recently on TikTok or Twitter or anything, or maybe in real life, I don't know who you spend your time around, but I've noticed it, right? The sassy man apocalypse is taking over, and I don't think I'm here for it. No, men need to stop being so sassy. I don't like it. Anyway, we carry on. Zara then finds out that he is in fact Rowan Kane, and that she has just been up in front of the entire owner of the place that she works in. But when she finds out who he is, she just bursts out laughing. Period, queen. I love that for you. The rumour circulating Dreamland will write, Rowan has earned a reputation as a ruthless businessman known to stir up the same level of happiness as animal euthanasia. Okay. He first gained attention after being the tiebreaker vote against increasing the minimum wage for employees. Because of him, the Kane Company has continued to pay their employees pennies for their hard work. His reign of terror was solidified over the years. He has cut back on employee paid vacation days, swapped our health insurance plan for one that hurts rather than helps, and laid off thousands of employees. Rowan might have the looks of an angel, but the rest of him is pure sin. So basically, he's a little bitch boy. So it's at this point we get the first mention of the pins that she wears, and that's a surprise mask at all that will help us later. Zara then sees, she's just at work, yeah, she's doing her job, she's working on a girl in a wheelchair who wants to be, I believe, Princess Cara. Don't quote me on that, and I can't be bothered to find it in the book, okay, so can deal with it, yeah. And Rowan turns up and he's like asking her manager questions about her. Bro, we get you're obsessed, but like leave her alone. Anyway, we find out that Zara's ex, Lance, also worked at Dreamland, and he was having an affair with Zara's boss's daughter. Right. It's a long story, yeah. And it's just a really shitty one. Like, f*** him. And f*** her too. Rowan goes to the Dreamland creators and demands that they help him find out what to do to get his dosh. And they're all given 6 months to do it. So he tells the creators, you've got 6 months, fix me park for me. I've got some money I want in my bank account. It's at this point that one of the, head creators suggest that they open up the employee submissions to, help with ideas, get some creativity. So obviously the employees all get sent out this submission. Claire, bright idea, tells Zara to submit an idea, and it's at this point that we find out that boy Lance stole Zara's idea for Nebula Land, which is like the new land that they're building. We find out at this point as well that Brady worked with Zara on this Nebula Land submission, which is why she name dropped him. I dropped my book! Nebula Land was supposed to be the project that turned me into a creator, but after Brady's accident, it felt wrong to submit it, so I held off. I was surprised to read about my idea in the company newsletter after learning Lance stole the main parts I'd shared with him in private. What would Brady think of Lance manipulating our idea? The ride looks nothing like our original plan. My lungs burn with the heavy breath I let out, and my eyes become watery as I run a finger across the sketch Brady did. Critiquing Lance's idea isn't going to get you anywhere closer to submitting yours. However, Zara proceeds to get wine drunk, which is so dangerous, by the way. Oh, I have plenty of horror story of being wine drunk. It's not. It ain't for the weak, okay? So obviously, Zara, she's chugging, she's had a whole bottle, and she submits this idea. The real Nebula Land that would make Brady Kane proud. And all she did was all over Lance's idea for Nebula Land. Queen shit. I love her. It's the next morning that Zara gets summoned to Rowan's office, and she's like, oh my god, I'm about to get sacked. I've just shit all over this. She's like panicking. I'm gonna lose my job. Martha offers me a small cup of water. Do I have you to thank for his good mood this morning? I gasp in mock shock. Don't tell me you're referring to Mr. Kane. He would know a good mood if he was overdosing on Valium. I take a sip of water to refresh my parched throat. Her eyes glitter. You're trouble. And late, Rowan calls out. Actually, she was right on time. Bit ruthless there, babe. Didn't need that. I'm sorry guys, that was a bit too far. Anyway, so obviously Zara's shitting herself. She's like, I'm gonna get sacked. However, Rowan offers her a job as a creator. Who'd have thunk it? I didn't think it. Though I probably should have done, considering one of the main tropes was boss ex-employee, that she wouldn't get sacked. Look, what I don't think. I just don't think, period. Right. He's like, yeah, I want you on my creative team, effective immediately. She says no. He says, I wasn't asking. I love it. And he's like, yeah, you're not leaving this office until you sign this contract to say that you're going to work. Oh my god. Like, it's so hot. Like, oh my god, he's keeping her captive. Yes. Cute. I reach out for the pen. Our fingers brush and heat shoots up my arm like flames licking my skin. I pull back and drop the pen. Rowan looks down at his hand like it offended him. Great. Glad to know I elicit that kind of facial expression from him. It shouldn't matter either way. He's your boss. Who cares? So, she also discovers it's a 10k pay rise. And I'm like, freak yeah. Like, what I would do for a 10k pay rise right now. I'd do so much stuff. Anyway, he's like looking at her, reading through the contract and everything. And like, you know earlier when I said that he's a thirsty little boy? Yeah, because he's already imagining her sucking his... I'd love to see what those lips do. What that mouth do. Anyway, as she leaves the office, that's when he notices that, like, she's got hundreds of pins attached to her bag. Zara grabs her backpack off the floor. She stands and turns on her heel, giving me a view of at least 50 different pins scattered across the pocket. What's the story with the pins, and why does she carry them with her everywhere she goes? I stop breathing as I zone in on one pin in particular. It catches my attention, not because it's bold, but rather because it's so different than all the other ones. No normal person would notice that pin out of the countless other ones, but I'm all too familiar with the symbol and what it represents. Maybe there's more to Little Miss Bubbly than meets the eye, and something tells me that it has something to do with the understated black semicolon pin. Now, if you are sane and not, in therapy, you might potentially not know what a semicolon stands for in the realms of mental health. It's like a survivor of mental health struggles. That's like the symbol for like, yeah, I struggled, but I'm a survivor. We don't know yet what went down, but we will eventually. After Zara's left the office, Rowan opens her employee file and finds out basically about the original Nebula Land submission, how his grandfather wanted to talk to her, and that she hasn't submitted an idea since, which is obviously a little bit like Buki. First of all, he's like basically stalking her, but without following her. He's just trying to find shit out about her, which, do you know what? I'd do the same. I would. Anyway, Zara goes to her parents' house for dinner, and we find out about Zara's sister Annie, who has Down syndrome, which I just want to put this out there. Favorite character in the whole book, Annie. I don't care what you'll say. Annie is a queen. I love that girl. I want her to be my sister, quite frankly. We also find out during this like family dinner that Zara has wanted to be a creator for yonks. Alright, she's been like, since she was a bab, she's like, I want to be a creator. We also find out that Zara's parents have been happily married for 28 years and that her dad is Armenian and I believe her mother is Spanish. It never gets like confirmed, but I believe her mom speaks Spanish to her, and it also mentions that her mom was European. So I'm going to assume, however, assuming, as we all know, can make an ass out of you and me. So feel free to correct me in the comments if I am wrong, but I think she's half Armenian and half Spanish. Sue me if I'm wrong. Leave a hate comment and I won't get back to you. Actually, no, I do actually really like responding to hate comments. I think it's really funny. Anyway, Rowan takes Zara to the like little creator area on her first day. He does like a little bit of a tour. They touch again. It's like fire. Oh. And it's at this point that we find out that there's two different creator teams. There's an alpha team and a beta team. And that Zara has been put on team beta with Jenny, who was the girl from before that suggested that they open the submissions. Rowan finds Zara at her desk. Basically, she's just like spinning in her chair and like using her stapler to create confetti. So this is what I imagine is going on. Whee! I don't own a stapler. Whee! Confetti! He asks if she's got any more weapons and she reaches underneath her desk, pulls out an invisible and pretends to like take it apart, pull the magazine out and everything. And it's really cute and she's really funny and I love her. It's at this point her computer doesn't turn on. Right, so he's like, oh, let me fix it. I don't know why, but I feel like fixing it for you. So he gets on his hands and knees and he starts crawling. He starts crawling underneath her desk. Bear in mind, we've been like, oh, Rowan, you're such a thirsty little boy. Wow, it's Zara's turn because she's there. He's underneath her desk and she's looking at his booty cheeks like... And you know what? Do I blame her? No, because like a good booty is a good booty. Like my eyes are gonna lock in. Oh, anyway. Oh, we also find out that Zara can't draw for shit. Okay, honestly, same though. Oh, drawing is so difficult. Anyway, we do the first lot of presentations. They basically spend the whole week coming up with an idea. And on a Friday, you present it to the group. Zara doesn't know, but Rowan's there, basically. Rowan is there for the presentations, and she's like, he's gonna watch me present and it's gonna be really shit and I've got a really good drawing. So anyway, Rowan is watching the presentations, seeing what's going on, and Zara presents hers last. And yeah, I think people liked it, I believe. I actually can't remember, guys. I'm so sorry. Basically, Rowan like kind of gets on her idea and she like talks back to him in front of everyone. Rowan runs a hand across his chin. Your drawings could use some work. I'll be sure to get right on that. My voice is doused in sarcasm. The entire room goes silent. I wish I could slap a hand over my mouth and apologise. Rowan appears unbothered. Everyone better come back with better ideas next Friday. I was underwhelmed to say the least. Use Miss... I can't say her last name for the life of me, so I'm just gonna not say it. Use Zara's presentation as a guide for what I expect from here on out, minus the last slide, as in her drawing, because of drawing. Everyone is dismissed except for Zara. Brow scrunch. There are worse things I'm capable of. A chill shoots down my spine. Like, I don't think you want to find out. I pretend I'm unbothered by his threat despite my racing heart. Better have a massive dick to back up that attitude or else people will be mighty disappointed. Care to bring out a ruler and test your theory? I left my magnifying glass at home, so maybe tomorrow. I'm so sorry. I don't know where that came from. I'm really sorry. Anyway, it's hot, okay? It's really hot. And then, after this flirt arguing, this happens next. 1 second, he's scowling at me, and the next, his lips are slamming into mine. Wait, what? It's happening! Mayday, 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 it's happening. First kiss, first kiss, first kiss. Nido. I honestly, did I think it was a little bit early? Yes. But then when you see what happens in the rest of the book, I'm like, no, I get it. So anyway, they're like, or whatever. I don't know how kissing works. And it's like, oh my god, fire, there's sparks everywhere. Oh my god, this is brilliant. It's amazing. I rip my arm out of his grasp. He looks at me with dilated pupils and swollen lips. My eyes drop to the bulge that I was very interested in only a few seconds ago. I nearly stumble from the sheer size of whatever he has hidden beneath his slacks. A ginormous... I can't believe I did that to my boss! What was I thinking? I wipe my mouth with my hand as if it can erase the memory of his lips, but it's a hopeless cause. He might as well have branded my lips with his initials. The lust dissipates from his eyes, gone in the blink of an eye. His chest rises with each ragged breath. I snap out of his trance. I'm on an escape mission as I rush to grab my purse and bolt from the room, leaving silent Rowan behind. I'm not sure what the hell happened, but I lock our kiss away in the never think about this again if I value my life file, located in the darkest corner of my brain, right next to the stupid shit I did while drunk and dick pic categories. So that is the first part. And did I think it kind of went a little bit quick? Yes. But as I said, just when I was like, I think they kiss a little bit too soon in the book. When you read the rest of the book, you're like, oh no, like I get why she did that now. Like I get it. I know why. So I do think it was a good choice in the end to put it there. Originally when I was reading it, I was like, oh, a bit soon. Nevertheless, I loved it. I did. Like I did. I'm just going to admit it now. I loved it. I don't know where my accent went though. I'm so sorry. Part 2, post-Kith to New York. Let's go. Rowan is now like, oh, why did I ask her to stay back, man? Like, I dismissed everyone and then I kept her back and then I just, like, oh, yo, what the hell? And he's, like, not happy. Like, he's panicking. I'm panicking! Anyway, he's, like, so convinced that Zara is either going to report him to HR or try to file a lawsuit, because he came on to her, do you know what I mean? Like, he initiated smooch. Rowan leaves Dreamland and goes back to Chicago, which is like where he is from, I believe, or at least where his family currently lives. He's basically like, I've just got to get away from her, can't be near her. The kiss I shared with Zara revealed just how dangerous our attraction is, and I need to stay far away from her as humanly possible. She's nothing but dangerous for my plan, for my future, and for the voice in my head wondering how explosive everything else would be between us if we hadn't stopped. Basically, he's like, if she hadn't pulled away, I'd have leapt onto her on the floor, I'd have let her climb me like a tree, and I'd have just ram the shit out of it. Anyway, we go back to Zara. She tells Claire she's going to literally just ignore everything that happens, ignore her feelings, ignore the kiss, lock it away. Done. Rowan is still like convinced she's going to go to HR. He asks her and she's like, yeah, I ain't doing that, can't be asked, babe. And then Rowan sees another one of her shitty little drawings, and basically he takes the drawing and he's like, oh, I've got a friend that I'll give it to and he'll make it better for you. Plot twist! The friend is him. He is him. Do you know what I mean? Whilst he's doing this drawing for her, he's getting like mad emotional turmoil. He's like, oh, my daddy issues, like, oh, I can't draw because I've got daddy issues. He's also still like mad thirsty. Like, thirsty little boy is getting worse. Okay, I stop at the entrance to Zara's cubicle and take a moment to observe her. She bobs her head to whatever plays out of the white earbuds while she taps away at her keyboard. My gaze flickers across her body before landing on the curve of her neck. The soft skin is meant to entice, to kiss and mark while she's into oblivion. There are plenty of things I'd want to do with that pretty little neck if given a chance, except that's not possible. You thirsty little boy. She is sat at her desk trying to work and you're over here going, yeah, I wanna you girl. I don't know where that came from. I'm so sorry. So he takes the drawing back to her and he's like, here you go, B, have a look at my drawing, do you like it? And she's like, oh, there's no signature on it, like, who am I supposed to credit the work to? And he's like, just don't, like, ignore it. So anyway, she writes down a note on a little sticky note and she's like, could you please give this to the person? And she's like, oh, thank you, bro, thanks, broski, like, I appreciate the drawing, like, let me know if I can get you anything to say thank you. Rowan leaves and he's like, oh, I'm just gonna crumple it up, throw it in bin, and then he goes, oh no, but she's written a phone number on it, I can't do that, I can't get rid of a phone number. So he keeps it, like the freak that he is, and he basically texts Zara and he's like, yo, Rowan gave me a note, like, thanks and shit. And then she's like, oh, what's your name? And he goes, you can call me Scott. All I wrote in my notes was funny, brackets, see page 109. So let's see what the hell is happening on page 109. Oh, I found it. Okay. I wipe away whatever look is on my face. Is there a reason you came by my office? Is that what we're calling cubicles the size of my shower nowadays? I flip him off underneath my desk. Hiding your hands defeats the intended purpose of such a gesture. Why does he talk like he was born drinking breast milk out of a porcelain teacup? And even weirder, why do I enjoy it? My dad taught me that if I don't have anything nice to say, then I shouldn't say anything at all. Shouldn't that rule extend to offensive gestures? I raise a brow in his direction, because you're the kind of person who gets offended now. His grimace doesn't match his lit up eyes. Your file never mentioned an issue talking back to authority figures. I perk up. You've been reading up on me? I tend to research my investments. I know his intention wasn't to make me feel all warm and fuzzy inside, but my heart leaps in my chest anyway. We aren't an investment, my feminist brain calls out, but the big grumpy man spends his time researching me, the hopeless romantic calls out in rebuttal. I get it, do you know what I mean? The whole feminist thing, like, Ugh, girl, have some self-respect. But like the hopeless romantic. Oh my god, big hot man. He wants to talk to me. Do you know what I mean? Like, I get it, girl. Zara presents the next idea with the drawing done by Scott, and the other creators love it. So good for her, I guess. Just written down a page number again. My god, write better notes, girl. What were you doing? Professionalism flies out of the window as I drop off Scott's drawing. There's only one reason for the loss of control, and Zara's curved ass is to blame for all of it. You thirsty little boy. I should clear my throat and get her attention. Hell, I should turn around and come back later when she isn't sprawled out on the floor typing away on her laptop with her ass facing the ceiling like it needs to be blessed by God himself. Heat spreads from my chest to the area below my belt buckle. I readjust my jacket to ensure nothing alarming is noticeable, but it doesn't solve the weird feeling spreading throughout my body. I call out her name, but her head continues to bob to whatever plays through those plastic earbuds. Her eyes pop open and my eyes drop to her parted lips. I'm drawn to her like a moth to a flame. It's fitting given how I act like a complete dumbass around her, who's willing to risk everything for a moment of her light. Oh my god, was it really objectifying? Yes. Was it so stinking cute? Yes. Oh, I love a man who yearns. Right. After, obviously, Scott has drawn up the idea for this ride, when she presents it at the next presentation, he's like, boo, yuck, I hate it. What? Get a grip, boy. And after that lot of presentations, Rowan enforces a 12-hour workday to increase productivity and creativity. Ugh, get a grip. And then Rowan orders a drawing tablet so he can still draw her drawings for her, but then he can like text them to her instead of walking to her cubicle and having to like see her face to face. But he takes a drawing back, I think. I don't know. He pops by her desk again because he loves doing that. And he sees that she's got like a little paper on the outside of her cubicle that's got like those little like pull off phone number strips on them, and it's basically for a buddy's mentorship program. And because he's a thirsty little boy, he rips all of the strips off and just pockets them, which is really sad because Zara then gets really happy because she's like, oh, people want to come to the program that I'm doing. Obviously, no one else turns up. Rowan's the only other person to show up, and he ends up being partnered with Annie. Annie knocks her shoulder into mine. So why did you come tonight? I was curious. About my sister. Her grin widens. About the meeting. I wasn't sure if she was planning a coup d'etat against me. I can't talk another language, get over it. Annie giggles. Don't worry, your secret's safe with me. What secret? You wanted to see my sister. She says it in a sing-song way. I steal the cupcake from her. I'll take that as payment. I forgot what it was like to enjoy sugar, but whatever Zara put in these cupcakes has me craving more. Hey, payment for what? She tries to swipe the cupcake out of my hand. The emotional turmoil you're bound to put me through by the time we're done here. It's only day one, you still have months left. Then you better bring a lot of cupcakes. I solidify myself as Annie's buddy, not because Zara told me to, but because I kind of like her. Cute! Throughout all of like the last couple of chapters, Zara and Scott have still been messaging each other, and he sends her a "What Pride and Prejudice character are you?" quiz. Scott gets Elizabeth Bennet, and then he basically when he's messaging her, he's like, oh, I've watched all the movies now. I'm just going to insert this video here. This was a live reaction to me reading that moment. We watched Pride and Prejudice! I got a bit excited. Okay, I'll admit I got a little bit too excited. She's like so super convinced that Scott likes her, which like... he does, but not in the way you think. They go bowling as part of like the little program thingy, and Rowan admits that he played varsity bowling to spite his father, which is like, what the hell? It's just so funny to me, like varsity bowling. Like obviously if you couldn't already tell, I'm British, right? And we don't have the concept of varsity sports in the UK, or at least in England. I obviously don't know about Scotland, Ireland, and Wales. But from what I've seen, it's just about like impressive sports. The idea that you can get varsity bowling is like mind-boggling to me. But he ends up teaching her how to bowl better, and that he really actually quite likes spending time with Annie. Rowan finds out through Scott that Zara is working late and she hasn't eaten any dinner, so he basically goes over to her and is like, oh shit, like I've ordered a Chinese, whoops, my hand slipped. And then they do some mad flirting, yeah. Not that I check you out or anything, she stammers, and her cheeks only redden more. I sit up taller, pleased with this new development. Right. Only a masochist runs for fun. It clears my head. I'll take your word for it. A laugh bubbles out of me, making my lungs burn from the rush of oxygen. Zara grins. It's a shame you don't laugh more often, because I don't have many things to laugh about. I tug at my tie. reply, loosening its hold around my neck. Don't get used to it. I wouldn't dare. I kind of like the fact that it's a rarity because it makes it even more special. Her smile is infectious, making the corner of my lips turn up in return. No one has called my laugh special. Hell, I don't even think I've been labelled special in any other way that wasn't derogatory. It makes me feel good, appreciated, valued in a way that has nothing to do with how much money I make or what kind of job I have. So stinking cute. Annie sets up pumpkin carving for the program. However, she only bought 2 pumpkins and she insists on carving her pumpkin with her boyfriend JP. There's 2 lines that are about to come up, and the difference in the 2 of them is like so important to me. Zara asks, "Why are you here?" Rowan's response, "Because your sister asked me to be." Rowan asks Zara what she would do if she had unlimited money, and she said she'd buy first editions of her favourite books. Yes, period, by the way, like, I agree, I'd do the same. And he says, "Not pins," and she gets all funny about it. And then this is when it changes. Zara asks Rowan again, "Why did you come?" And Rowan's reply is, "Because I felt like it." You wanted to see her! I see you! I'm clacking you! Rowan also finds out that Zara tutors an old co-worker from the Magic Wand Salon's kids because she can't afford a tutor. And Zara has to explain to Scott that many of the Dreamland staff can't afford to live off their wages but choose to stay because they love it there. Some even like from multi-generational families like Zara. Her parents work there, she works there, her sister works there. It's like a family thing. Rowan then finds out that Martha, who we spoke about earlier, has a bad ankle. She's older as well, and she has to work evenings at a bar so that she can pay for her husband's medical bills because Rowan took away their health insurance, which is like, do you know what I mean? And he then feels guilty and gives her a Christmas bonus in October. He also finds out that they don't get given any paid vacation days when he's trying to find Zara. Finds out that she's on a field day in the park. Basically, she wants to talk to guests about what they think about the park. She wants to get a feel for the park as a whole and just, you know, spend some time there. So he goes off and finds her in the park because obviously he's a thirsty little boy. He has to spend time with her all the time. There's some flirting going on here. This is over text, by the way. Lucifer, please tell me where you are. Zara, look at you using the word please. And people say old dogs can't learn new tricks. Good, Zara. Reminds him of your age difference. That should steer him away, given the fact that he's 7 years older than you. Lucifer, this old dog has plenty of tricks he could teach you. Did he make a sexual joke? My whole body burns from his reply, and I can't come to grips with his shift in personality. Rowan replies again before I have a chance to move past my shock. That was highly inappropriate. Zara, I think your phone has been hacked. Rowan, I can assure you it hasn't, but I can't say the same about my brain. I tend to do stupid things around you. Cute. Anyway, they end up going on the haunted house ride, which is like brave. I hate haunted houses. I'm a little scaredy cat. And he gets like actually really scared on it, and it's like really funny. And then there's some more flirting. What's happening? Passengers all step off the cart, but we remain seated. Rowan does another hand signal and the cart takes off again, empty except for us. Why are we doing this again? I speak louder over the cranking gears. He looks over at me, his face flat. You said you wanted to do it again. Yeah, but I didn't exactly expect us to. Well, here we are. The cart moves forward, cranking up the volcano again. Why are you really spending so much time with me? Don't you have other things to do and people to torment? He offers a non-committal shrug. Maybe I enjoy hearing your screams. Freak. I'm surprised Rowan doesn't send me straight into cardiac arrest when he winks. My heart thuds in my chest and my skin tingles in response. Look, these two like each other, yeah. It's so freaking obvious. They are so like, oh, they like each other. They just refuse to admit it. They end up going over to the little Christmas area of the park and fake snow starts to fall. He tucks her hair behind her ear. Sorry. So it's at this point in the Christmas area that they kiss again and he asks her on a date. Yeah, well, I'm not supposed to be attracted to an insufferable female who drives me to the brink of insanity, yet here we are. You represent everything I dislike in someone. She winces. That's the way you really feel about me. That came out all wrong. Somehow I watched Mr. Darcy up 17 times, yet still managed to fall into the same trap. Her eyes shine instantly, making me feel... Yeah, I didn't mean it like that. I cup her elbow, but she rips her arm away. You know what? Forget this. All I've done is make excuses for your behaviour because I was hoping that there was a decent guy underneath all that anger. But in reality, you're nothing but a jerk who gets off on making everyone as miserable as you. So he fucks up, which like, yeah, he's like dark and brooding. Like, of course he's gonna fuck up. Like, he's the main male character and he's a man. You're just a man, that's just what you do. Do you know what I mean? The next day, Rowan invites her to his office and he's wearing these sexy little glasses. And like, yeah, I get it. And it's at this point that he admits that he is Scott and she's furious. She tells him whatever they had together is done. It's over. What are you doing? He rises above me. I'm leaving. We're done here. That's it. I deserve an opportunity to explain myself and make it up to you. I shake my head. Are you for real? You deserve nothing but a courtesy hello whenever we pass each other in a hallway. You're going to throw months of friendship away because of this. I'm coming clean now when I didn't need to. Doesn't that count for something? Does he seriously believe him being honest is some kind of achievement? I stare at him, unsure of how the hell he could accept anything close to appreciation. He's a man who gets everything he wants. You're probably the first person who dares to tell him no. We were never friends to begin with. You made sure of that when you decided to lie to me as Scott while manipulating my attraction for Rowan. I release a bitter laugh. Maybe the reason you don't have friends has nothing to do with being awkward or wanting to protect yourself from other people. It's because you're so damn cynical about everyone and everything. Who would want to open themselves up to someone like that? I sure as hell don't. So he messes up. Yeah, we get it. Zara's furious, right? And the next day he goes to her desk with apology cupcakes that he baked himself. That boy made Annie bake them. But you know what? I do the same. I'm going home. Maybe you should do the same. I want to tell her that home is just another empty place that makes me miserable, but I don't have a chance to say a single word as she exits the cubicle, leaving me standing there with a bag filled with untouched takeout food, this void feeling in my chest. It all goes wrong. Yeah. Are we surprised? No. So Rowan goes and meets Annie and tells her what's happened, and she is also sad because she's like, like, I made you spend time together. Like, I was so pro Zara and Rowan. Like, I was the lead of your ship. I was the captain, and it was all gone wrong. Anyway, all she says is that he just needs to get Zara to trust him again. He goes back to her desk, and she sees that she's holding her resignation letter, and he asks for one more chance, just one chance to listen to him and to go to his house that evening. I used to love drawing. Why did you stop? Rowan's shoulders tense before he releases a shaky breath. Why do most people stop doing things they love? I relate to that question. After everything Lance did, I stopped wanting to create anything. I paused my dreams because it seemed easier than facing the pain of his betrayal. Path of least resistance included shutting down things that I loved because I was too afraid of the backlash. I pluck at a loose thread on my jeans. I'm not asking about people, I'm asking about you. You're not going to make this easy for me, are you? If apologizing was easy, everyone would do it. He readjusts his glasses in a way that has my thighs pressing together to stop the dull throb. I swear he only wore them to wear me down. My grandpa got me into drawing at a very young age. He always had a special something with my brothers and me, and drawing happened to be our thing. I was the only artistic one of my family besides him, so I think he enjoyed having that connection. That's sweet. The bond I had with my grandfather was different from the one I shared with my father, and I think that frustrated my father. He was never artsy, and that was all I wanted to do as a kid. It was like he didn't know how to connect with me in a way that didn't involve throwing a ball around. I don't remember my parents arguing much, but when they did, it was usually about me. Dad would get angry because he didn't know how to bond with me, so Mum would cry. It got particularly worse once my mum got sick. I think she was worried my father and I would never be close, and she wouldn't be there to help. That was the start of my rocky relationship with my father. Eventually, I gave up on drawing and moved on to more appropriate activities that were expected of me. He might have not intentionally told me to stop, but he made sure to take the joy out of it. Whenever I had an exhibition, he wouldn't show up, so I had to watch all the other kids' parents celebrate while I stood there by myself. It got to the point that I refused to participate anymore, despite my grandfather trying. Then there was a time that he found all the old cards I drew for my mum while she was in the hospital. He ruined them because he felt like it. They were some of the last memories I had of her, and they were gone after a drunken rampage. Drunken rampage? A vein in his jaw ticks. Forget I said anything about that. But I can't. I want to go back in time and protect Rowan. It's okay if you can't talk about it. I reach out and place my palm on his clenched fist. But will you tell me what made you want to start drawing again, if that's okay? He nods. Because your drawings were terrible, and I had this burning desire to help you. You started drawing again because of me? Yes, he mumbles under his breath. I smile and nod. Oh wow, why? You almost cried during your presentation, and this is the same man who told me that he had no fucks to give. He's wanting to help me without even really knowing me. It makes no sense. In the beginning, I only wanted to help you because I thought it was beneficial for me. You have the kind of talent I was looking for to renovate the park and make sure. He blinks twice, catching himself mid-sentence. Make sure what? Make sure I made my grandfather happy. Why didn't you hire someone else to help me? I thought of it, but didn't want to. Why? Because my common sense escaped me. Or you liked me. I tried my hardest not to smile, but failed miserably. Definitely not. I found you oddly annoying and way too nice all the time. I lean over the coffee table and give his shoulder a shove. Hey, there's no such thing as being too nice. There is where I come from, and that is a place where people smile too brightly or talk too sweetly because they have every intention of using it against me. It's the whole damn reason I'm cynical in the first place. place. So obviously that is just us getting a little glimpse into his past, why he is the way that he is, just a little bit. That's like his parental, grandparental trauma. That's that side of it. He carries on to explain that the reason he's cynical is because he's basically spent his whole life with people using him and extorting him for money. And we also find out that he was unknowingly recorded by a girl whilst they lost their virginity because she wanted to extort him for money, which is like up. He also admits that he was wrong about her, and she ends up telling him everything that happened with Lance, and they now I'm not going to go into mad detail because I want this video to stay up, but this is a little interaction that happens. Take a man to dinner first. Does my count? Oh my god. And it's at this point that he asks her if she still wants a measuring tape for his, and she's like, no, just stick it up there. So obviously they're going at it, yeah. Then after it happens, she goes to leave. He's like, no, baby girl, come back to bed. Where are you going? Great, I'm glad we know that he can use his tongue for good rather than evil. It's a step in the right direction. I only laughed to myself. So you're what? Buddies? I wince at her choice of words. Okay, no. How about friends with benefits? I shake my head. We didn't discuss labels. Silly me, how could you if he's lodged in your throat? So Zara's like telling Claire, like, I think we'll just keep it casual or whatever. And then he tells her, like, I'm taking you on a date. And she's like, what? Do I not get a choice? And he's like, off, no, I'm taking you. And he takes her to like this real fancy restaurant. And it's at this point that she's trying to figure out his middle name because his initials are RGK, Rowan something Kane. He admits his mom was a history buff and she named all of the brothers after King Arthur's Knights of the Round Table, and that's when he admits that his full name is Rowan Galahad Kane, which I think is so stinking cute. It's at this point we also see Zara's ex Lance and his new hussy are at the restaurant, and like Lance comes over to their table and is like, oh my god, I didn't realize that you were here on like a little business meeting, like what the hell? And he's like, this isn't a business meeting, I'm f***ing this. Oh, language. Obviously seeing like Zara's discomfort, he's like, oh Lance, I've just promoted you, babe. You're actually going to help the creators in Dreamland Shanghai. So like, f*** off. Ow, just fisted my table. Oh, I meant punched. Actions speak louder than words. And what do my actions say? I lean in and grab the end of her hair, pulling her towards me so our mouths are only a few inches apart, that you care more than you're letting on. I close the gap between us and kiss her. Don't go wishing for things that can't happen. The corners of her eyes soften, reflecting an emotion I haven't seen from her yet. That's okay. I'll dream big enough for the two of us. The strange warmth searing through my veins is quickly doused by a chill. That's my biggest worry in one single sentence. So he's like scared, okay? He's like, I'm falling in love with this gal and I can't. But on the way home, they start getting a little freaky. This is still in the car. She sucks him off, he fingers her, and then she rides him. Casual stuff, you know. Obviously, I won't be getting mad deep into the smutty scenes just because I don't want this to get taken down. I must be half delusional from my orgasm because Rowan whispers something to himself that I must have dreamed up in my head. If I had a heart to give, it would be all yours, free of cost. My spine tingles and it has nothing to do with his hand running down my back. I want to tell him he has a heart, but the words get stuck in my throat, so instead I soak in whatever kind of affection Rowan is willing to share. It's real sad, guys. Like, they obviously like each other, but Rowan is just like a little in the brain. So he is just like, nah, we don't like each other, it's fine. Like, she's just a little buddy. And it's just like, no, Rowan Pookie, you like her. Annie ends up inviting Rowan over to the family dinner, and obviously Dreamland is in Florida. Rowan spends most of his time in Chicago, and they start talking about like the differences and everything, and Rowan finds out that their family haven't been on a holiday in years because they can't afford it. And I think it's at this point that Rowan realizes just how much of an asshole he actually is, and he ends up turning up to Zara's flat, where Zara finds out that Annie packed her suitcase and that Rowan is taking her on his private jet to New York City. And Zara is like super duper excited, especially for snow, because she's never seen it before. Where the freak am I? I hope you know I might never leave this place. I walk right up to the massive 2-story window that shows off a panoramic view of the entire city. One of his arms wraps around me, teasing the hem of my sweater, while the other tilts my head to look over my shoulder. You would give up Dreamland for the city? I let out a soft laugh. No, I love Dreamland. I could spend the rest of my life there and never get bored. He looks at me with a weird expression I can't place. Really? Why? why? My whole family lives there. I'd be crazy to give it up for some random city. His hand strokes the sliver of exposed skin on my stomach. Are you happy giving up the city for Dreamland? I shouldn't probe, but I'm too curious. I never thought I could feel happy at Dreamland again, but now I'm not too sure. I smile. Really? I might have met the one person who makes the place bearable. His gaze remains solely focused on my face. His answer makes my breath all shaky and my legs all wobbly. Hopeful little butterflies take flight in my stomach, proving just how far I'm falling. That's where I ended part 2. And I really, really liked the pacing of that part. I thought, as I said at the end of part 1, I was like, oh, I think they've gone a bit too fast. But I liked the step back that they took in part 2. And I liked, as I said, the pacing of it. I think it worked really well. And I think that it just shows, like, do not get too ahead of yourself. Because, like, when I was first reading it and I got to the first kiss, I was like, ooh. But then, as I said, you keep reading and you're like, oh no, this actually fits really well. I think it's that whole, like, don't judge a book by its cover. I was, like, judging it by its first, like, 14 chapters when I shouldn't have been. Because I ended up really liking it. This is the final part of the book, obviously. So, Zara unpacks her suitcase in New York and figures out that her suitcase is full of her Juliana de la Rosa books, The Duke Who Seduced Me, the series. And she finds out that Rowan is taking her to a book signing of the author. Juliana basically spills that she knows Rowan and he planned the entire signing for Zara. Oh my god, as I said before, guys, a guy who yearns. He fell first and harder. Can we bear that in mind as well? How hot. His company made my books into the show you love. His company! I'm not sure how I'm remaining upright with the amount of carpet she's pulling out from under me. How could I be so stupid? Rowan's mentioned his streaming company in the past, but I didn't connect it until now. Scott never needed my passwords to watch TV, did he? He has the audacity to shrug. No. Then why use it? Why else, dearie? Love makes us do silly things, Juliana intervenes. Period, Juliana. This gal writes romance novels. She knows exactly what she's seeing with her own goddamn eyes. If only Rowan could get over his thirsty boy little ass and realize he loves her. Anyway, as they're leaving the event, Zara slips in the snow and Rowan tries to catch her, but you know, we're reading a romance novel, guys, so obviously he also falls over, pulls her down, and she's like sprawled out on top of him. He's like lying down and she's like on top of him, and it's like, do you know what I mean? Bit cheeky. Zara's like talking to him and she's like, do you know how many properties you own? And he says 28. I knew this mofo was rich, but like that's extortionately gross. It's at this point that Rowan asks Zara to tell him about her pins. Zara admits that after everything that happened with Lance, she had to go to therapy because she became so depressed, and Rowan is like shocked because she's always like so happy. Claire was the one who started my pin collection after my first therapy session. She bought me an Iggy the Alien, one she found on Etsy, but instead of him holding up his 3 fingers in peace, he was flipping everyone off. It is a symbolic fuck you to Lance. I shake my head with a smile. That's illegal trademark infringement. Sue me, she grins. I smile back. How did you go from one pin to a whole backpack covered in them? Claire made it her mission to find me the most outrageous pins every week. Every time I came back from my weekly session, she would unveil it. Now she gets me 2 a year, one for my birthday and one for Christmas. Rowan says he wishes he was strong like Zara. He said that he wishes he could talk about things, and then he starts talking about his mom, and we get a very, very, very deep, very in-depth conversation about his childhood, where he admits that he didn't lose just his mother to illness, he lost his father as well to his own vices and addiction problems. And it's at this point that he finally admits that he likes Zara. I brush my lips across his, leaving behind the faintest kiss. Because what? His heart pounds faster against my chest, the beat becoming alarmingly fast. Because I like you. It's scary as hell because you make me feel everything. And I know I'll disappoint you. That I can't promise much, but sometimes I think maybe I could, if I tried hard enough, if I found a way to make things right. My heart threatens to disintegrate into my chest from the heat spreading through my body. It's the closest thing to a confession of love that I might get from him, and it's a sign of hope. Oh my god, like, are you kidding me? It's taken 323 pages, and he finally realizes, like, I like this gal. This is my gal for life. After all of this, they start getting freaky. Obviously, because why wouldn't they? He kisses the base of my spine. You weren't supposed to make me smile or laugh. He nips at the edge of my ear before tracing my earrings with his finger. You weren't supposed to work your way under my skin like venom with no kind of antidote, and you were never supposed to make me want more. But now it's too late. He smooths out my hair before wrapping it around his hand like a rope. He tugs. You're mine. Like, I'm gonna be so honest with you guys, it was, to quote Ollie Murs, getting sweaty, hot and heavy in the crowd now. Oh, it was a time, guys. Then at the end of Freak Time, we get this quote from Zara: "This is more than lust, but I refuse to be the first to admit it, no matter how tempted I am." Period, girl. Make him work for it. Do it. So the next day, he takes her to the Rockefeller Center to see the tree and to go ice skating, and then she asks to go to Central Park, and he warns her that she'll get sick. It's at this point in New York that Declan calls and asks Rowan what the f*** he's doing in New York. Planning book signings is weird for you. And Declan tells Rowan that the letters of his grandfather have been sent to whoever Brady chose for the vote as to whether, like, they pass to get their inheritance. They have no idea who Brady chose, by the way. Declan also tells Rowan that he is going back to Chicago after the vote, but Rowan doesn't want to leave. He's like, no, I'm going to stay for Zara. He doesn't tell Declan that, but that's like what's going on in his thirsty little boy brain. Zara does, in fact, get sick, and she also admits that she loves Rowan. She just doesn't think he feels the same. And whilst at Rowan's house, he calls a doctor for her who says that she needs to go to the hospital because he thinks she's got pneumonia. Whilst Rowan is like showing the doctor out of the house, Zara goes to find her phone to tell her parents, like, oh, go hospital, babe, yeah, sorry. She passes out, and Rowan hears obviously the clatter from downstairs, and he goes upstairs to find her on the floor in a pool of her own blood. So he calls an ambulance, and it's at this point that Rowan hates how he feels for her. Basically, he thinks he's turning into his dad, bending to her every whim. He's like, I'm becoming soft. I was willing to stay at Dreamland for her, for a woman, right? Not of my own choice. This is all for a woman. Which is like, I mean, do it. Do you know what I mean? Who cares if it's for a woman? Zara wakes up and she's like stressing about how much a hospital stay is and how much a week of work will cost her in wages and stuff. And Rowan's like, yeah, I've paid for it. Don't worry, G. And Rowan stays at the hospital with her and Annie, making Zara believe that he's like the perfect man. And it's at this point, after she's literally goes, he's perfect, that he says, yeah, we're done. I'm ending this now, and he leaves. I never take time off work, not even on Christmas, but I felt obligated because you got hurt in my house. I've even postponed important meetings and blown off a shit ton of paperwork because what? Say you care. Say you want me anyway. Say you might be scared, but some things in life are worth the risk. Say anything, but nothing. He stands staring at me with an expression similar to the ones he has during boring presentations. I've never felt so insignificant, not even when Lance left me. I truly thought Rowan and I had something special, the forever kind of connection I've been hoping for all my life. I was so wrong. I let out a bitter laugh. I don't know what's more pathetic, the fact that you deny how much you care about me, or the way I'm actually surprised by all of this. Nothing but beeping machines fill the silence between us, matching the rapid beat of my heart. I shake my head. The problem isn't work, and it's definitely not us changing from casual to more, which is your own damn fault when you kept doing things that showed you cared. You made me believe in some fantasy. You made me want more. His blank stare sends another chill down my spine. I always meant to keep things casual. That's what we agreed on. You did a really shitty job at that. You didn't have to play the role of a dutiful boyfriend because you were already acting like one. He takes a step back at my outburst. Breathing hurts, but I don't care. Every decision you've made up until this point has all been because you care. Because deep down, I think you love me, even though you're too damn scared to admit it. My voice cracks and I let out a wheeze because my lungs struggle to cooperate. Love was never an option. If I made you believe otherwise, I apologize. I would never subject you to that kind of misbelief when I'm moving back to Chicago soon. He literally said like 3 chapters ago, like, oh, I'm scared of f***ing this up. And what did you do? You f***ed it up. Then this is what I don't understand, right? The author goes over to Rowan's POV and is like, he can't sleep. Oh, he misses her. He's smelling the pillow that still smells of her perfume. Stop trying to make us feel bad for him. Because it's working and I don't like it. It's his goddamn fault. Why are we feeling bad for him? He put himself in this situation. He ends up cornering her at her desk to apologise again. And it's like... And then he goes and corners Annie at work, because obviously she also works at Dreamland. So what, we're not friends anymore? No, you don't mean that. She scowls. Zara's my best friend and you made her cry. I inhale. The inhale I take burns my eyes. Your sister and I are done, she told me. Annie's bottom lip wobbles. I didn't mean to hurt you too. I helped you hurt her. With the pumpkins and New York, her eyes shine from unshed tears. Annie feels responsible for my actions. I never meant for her to carry the burden of my decisions. None of this is your fault. I place my hand on her shoulder and give it a squeeze. No, it's yours, because you're a big baby who can't admit you like her. I can't hold back my sad laugh. laugh. If only life was that simple. You told me excuses are for losers. Damn, I never thought she would use my own mentor advice against me. I had told her the same words in the context of trying to move out of her parents' apartment and become independent. It might seem like an excuse to her, but I have my reasons. She sighs. Thank you for helping me and making me feel better about moving. Is she seriously trying to give me the brush off right now? Annie, you're not my friend or buddy anymore. I quit. She lets out a heavy breath. So he's f***ed it up with Zara as his girlfriend and Annie as his friend. Which was like really sad, but I also don't feel bad for him because he's put this on himself. So he ends up going back to his house and he sees the swing at the front of his house and he's like, oh, I've been meaning to take that down for ages, and this is it. He's fucking mad. He goes to take it down and he takes down one screw before turning around to get out another one and seeing an inscription that was left on the wood from his mom. My little knights, love with all your heart and show kindness in all your actions. Mummy. How sad. After rereading that inscription, the only thought that this man has is, would my mother be proud of the man I am now? Part of me would surely hope so, but another part of me knows I've done a lot of messed up things in my life because that's all I know. I wasn't raised with the kind of values my mum preached, at least not since she was gone. And it's like, I don't want to feel bad for him because he like put himself in this situation, but at the same time, I'm like, I also can't help but feel bad for him. I know. Stop. I can feel the judgmental stares that you're giving me right now, and I'm not here for it. It's just, oh, it's so sad. I don't know how to feel about it. I really don't, because I am feeling sad for him, but I know that he put himself in this situation. But also, he's had childhood trauma, which has led him to here. Oh, I just don't know how to feel about it. Do you know what I mean? So he ends up going back to Zara's desk and she calls him Mr. Kane. He asks her to come back to his house so that he can apologize again. Her mouth drops open. You're joking. She thinks I want to make a move on her. This is why I don't talk about feelings. No, I'm not saying this right. I want to talk to you. Just talk. Yeah, well, I don't want to talk to you. She turns toward her little tablet and tinkers away at her design. I blink at the computer. It hits me that she's creating her own design instead of working with me because she doesn't need you anymore. I'm not sure why the thought makes my throat tight. I feel like I'm being replaced and forgotten by the one person who really saw me, the person who believed in me and supported me when she had every reason to despise me for what I represented. Zara, hear me out. I can't sleep. I can't eat. I'm stuck in a constant state of nausea and heartburn no matter what I eat. Sounds like you can feel after all, she scowls. Yes, are you happy? I feel like ever since I left you in that damn hospital room knowing full well you were crying because of me. No, I'm not happy that you're upset. On the contrary, I want you to be happy with your choices. She speaks with such a neutral tone as if I didn't break her heart. Why? Why do you have to be so goddamn selfless all the time? Because I want you to look back on your choices and know that they were worth it in the end. Except a lot of my decisions don't seem worth it. Despite how necessary they feel in the moment, I want to tell her that and a lot more if she would only give me the chance. Give me a chance to explain myself. I've been thinking about everything and I made a mistake. I shouldn't have let you go because I was afraid. You were right, but I want to try again with you. My speech is stilted and awkward, but it's genuine. She releases a resigned sigh and my heart drops with it. No, I'm not falling for this again. I gave you a chance and you blew it. She's not doing it. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's just not here for it. And do you know what? Do that. Like, don't let a man walk all over you, queen. So it is at this point that Claire reveals, like, oh shit, one of your letters got lost with mine. Sorry, babe. And Zara opens it and realizes that it's a letter from Brady. I'm just going to read out the entire letter, by the way. Dear Zara, apologies in advance if my words are scrambled. It's hard to sum up my thanks, but I'll try. If only because you deserve to know how much of an impact you had on my life. Even an old man like myself can learn a few new tricks, or at the very least be reminded of the old ones they've long since forgotten. Before I met with you about your proposal, I was in a dark place. I felt lost and unsure about myself for the first time in many years. But then you came into my office, the huge grin, and all this pent-up imagination waiting to be explored. I was immediately impressed with your sharp mind and honest heart. It took me a while to understand why I felt an attachment to you, but I realised it's because you reminded me of my younger self, of someone yet untouched by money, fame, and the expectations that dull even the strongest creative minds. I know you aspire to become a creator one day. Whenever you feel like you're finally worthy, whatever the hell that means, I did alright with a community college education, and so can you. I want to help you achieve that dream. So wherever you are, and whatever you're doing, know that you'll always have a creator job at Dreamland if you want it. All you need to do is contact my old secretary, Martha, and she'll get you a contract. No interview necessary. I have one tiny favour to ask in return. As part of my will, I've asked my grandson to become the director of Dreamland for 6 months and create a special project meant to improve the park. I've personally selected you to participate as a voting member on my committee. You'll be expected to either approve or reject Rowan's plans. You reminded me of why I created Dreamland. Your passion for the park was one I lost along the way, and your unique ideas stoked excitement in me that had long since been forgotten. Because of that, I know you're the right person to help me one last time. It might seem like a big request, but you're one of the people I want to be part of the change Dreamland needs. So please join my committee and vote for the future of the park. So Brady's asked her to be part of the vote. Now, what this does for Zara's pretty little head is go, Rowan knew that I was on the voting committee. He's flirted with me and tried to be in a relationship with me for all of these months because he think that he can manipulate me to vote for him. Oh, my poor sweet girl. It ain't like that, boo. It ain't like that, boo thing. I honestly, my heart was breaking for Zara at this point. I felt awful for her because of course you're gonna think in that way, but it's not. Do you know what I mean? Like, I genuinely, like, as an empath, I was like, I'm gonna start crying. Zara really thinks that everything that happened with Rowan was a lie and that he was just manipulating her. And honestly, oh, it was horrible. It's also at this point that Claire says that she'll basically castrate Rowan, and she comes out with honestly one of the most iconic lines in all of literature. Like, I think this phrase will actually become one of the greats. It will become a classic. Act like a dick, lose a dick. Period. Clack it. I love her. Anyway, we go to the last creators meeting where Zara goes to present and she reveals that she doesn't actually have a ride to present. She wants to completely renovate the entire park. Today, I'm presenting something a little different. It's not exactly about a ride, so I understand if it isn't accepted as an option for Mr. Kane's project. I'm interested in making Dreamland more inclusive for our guests. As a salon worker, I met lots of children who experienced life's hardest challenges. I began to take notice and write down their concerns. After years of working, I came to one conclusion. As a sister of someone with challenges herself, I understood the guests' chief complaints, even though I think my sister would punch my arm if she heard me using that kind of C word. Dreamland isn't only made for the more privileged who can afford quick skip passes, $100 entrance tickets, and overpriced food and drinks. It's made for the able-bodied, for those kids who were born with a leg up, no pun intended. So my idea is to change the very foundation of the park and shift the way we view our guests. All I can do is stare in silence as she goes through various slides covering different ideas, from wheelchair costumes to sensory hours for children with autism. Zara meets the demand of children and adults alike who are often overlooked at Dreamland. She delivers all of the content with the biggest smile on her face. The more she talks, the stronger the longing grows in my chest. I honestly think, like, when I first read that that was her idea, I loved this girl at the start, and I genuinely think that this is like the most amazing character that I've read in a book. I'm sorry, okay, I know that's like a big statement to say, but all I've read about Zara is that she's kind, caring, considerate, and she thinks about literally everybody but herself. Relatable. She is so compassionate, she's so kind, and she's taken a lot from people, from Lance, from Rowan, from her old manager. Literally everybody seems to be against her or in some way hate her or not want, like, do you know what I mean? Like, they were all just a bit of a massive to her. But all she was nice. And it's like, I love you. I love you. After Zara's presentation, Jenny announces that today was Zara's last day. She had in fact handed in her resignation and that she wouldn't be coming back after Christmas. Rowan keeps her behind, tells her she can't leave. She asks if he only hired her to manipulate her feelings for the vote. But he admits he had no idea that she was chosen for the vote and that everything was real. Everything, the entire relationship that they had, everything was real. But she just doesn't believe him, which I don't blame her for. He's done nothing but be a... Do you know what I mean? Like, he's lied about so many things in the past. He pretended to be a different man to text her for months. Right. Of course she's not going to trust what he says. Rowan flies back to his dad to talk to him in Chicago. Do you think Mum would be proud of the man you've become since she died? My father's mouth drops open. I don't think I've seen him look surprised like this before. The colour leaches out of his already pale face, making him look ghostly. A heavy gust of wind blows towards us, snapping him out of whatever thoughts he had. No, I don't. His head bows. Why did you change? Because I was an angry, pathetic man who wanted to drown everyone in my grief so they could feel hurt like I hurt. I blink at him, caught completely off guard by his candid answer. Out of all of the responses I considered, the words he spoke never even made it on the list. He sighs as if this conversation is draining him of all of his energy. Any other questions? Do you regret falling in love with my mother? Not at all. I could have sworn he would say yes. How could he not after all the pain he clearly went through? Why not? You'll learn that the best rewards come with the biggest consequences because nothing great is given for free. After hearing that from his dad, Rowan is like, I f***ed up massively. This is when he's like, I have to fix this. He was so convinced that he was turning into his dad, and he hated his dad, and he thought that his dad hated his mom, but he didn't, and it was all a little bit like, whew, I do feel bad for him. I do. What he did was assume, and we know what that does to us, guys. What he has been, okay, but I just don't think he was working with his brain. His brain, he was had a couple screws loose, but I think they might have been tightened up a little bit at this point. Him, Declan, and Cal are having Christmas dinner, and he just announces to Declan, he's like, yeah, I'm not coming back to Chicago. I'm not. And Declan's like, well, you are. And he's like, I'm not, babe. You're doing all of this because of a girl. No, I'm doing this because I like who I strive to be when I'm with that girl. You've completely lost your goddamn mind. I shrug. Maybe, but at least it's fun. When he said, like, I'm not doing this for a girl, I'm doing this because of the man that I become when I'm with this girl, that was like so stinking cute. I loved it. So he like immediately flies home and he just turns up at Zara's flat on Christmas Day with a gingerbread house that he was like, oh, I remember you said you liked them, so I thought we could build one and I could like apologize to you or whatever. And like, bro, it's so bad. Oh my god, you actually think a gingerbread house is gonna make things better? Well, no, but I remember you mentioning how much you liked them. And she holds her hands up. Her face is all scrunched up as if she's in pain talking to me. My nauseous stomach sinks into dangerous territory. I'm tired of being sick to my stomach. It makes me feel disgustingly pathetic, in the mood to wallow, and I despise any sort of self-pity. Rowan, you ended things with me. We can't just pick up where we left off and pretend to go back to something casual. Good, because I don't want anything casual anymore. Her eyes shine. You're only doing this because of the vote. I release a frustrated breath. I'm not doing this for a damn vote. If you want to vote against me, then do it. Hell, I encourage you to, as long as you give me the chance to explain myself. She still doesn't believe him after all of that, okay? He's like, I don't care if you vote against me. In fact, I encourage you to vote against me. Like, as long as I can be with you, babe. She don't care. She's like, no, f you. I still don't want to be with you. And it is kind of sad. He ends up going home and he builds the gingerbread house himself. And he spells out, I'm sorry, with little gumdrops on the roof, and then sends her a picture, which, I'm sorry, that is actually kind of cute. I would have folded at that, by the way, but she completely ignores the message. Now the day of the vote. Zara goes to the vote and she's one of the first people there, and then Martha turns up as well. Rowan's dad walks in and Martha has to calm Zara down because obviously Zara's still like, yes, she's not talking to Rowan and they're in a bit of a lover's tiff, but like, you can still fucking hate that because like I do. And it's at this point that Martha confirms Rowan had no idea who would be on the voting committee. So now Zara's like, I didn't believe him. I should have believed him, but I didn't. Now, this is... I'm just going to say a couple of things, but I am mostly just going to read this straight from the book. Martha's questioning in this, I'm like, period. Like, I love you. You know exactly what you're doing. And the fact that Zara is like continuously like crying more and more throughout this whole thing just shows how much she actually cares. But yeah, I'm just going to read straight from the book, and there is a lot for me to get through. There's quite a lot of pages, so I'm just going to do it. I spent the past 6 months working with park developers to come up with a renovation plan that would stand out above the rest. Creators spent countless hours developing new ride ideas, land concepts, float addition, and more. I had every intention of showing those designs today. In fact, I created a whole presentation centered around expanding Dreamland. Over the last month, I spent time breaking down my grandfather's words. I came to the realization that finding weaknesses meant more than increasing revenue or allocating funds better. During my grandfather's time in a coma, the weaknesses slowly became overlooked because of our strength. The more Dreamland grew, the easier it was to ignore the smaller issues because more money meant more success. My grandfather wrote how there was a special person who helped him realize his mistakes, and I was fortunate enough to have met that same individual. This person showed me how money becomes meaningless when we ignore the very people who help us make profit. They were vocal about the issues with Dreamland, and I was intrigued by these so-called weaknesses. I began interviewing employees at random from all departments, and what I found was shocking. This is Ralph. He's been a dedicated ride mechanic at Dreamland for the past 50 years, making him our oldest employee besides my grandfather. When I asked him how he felt about the Dreamland wage changes and insurance benefit cuts, he told me it didn't matter. Of course, I thought that was a bizarre statement. Out of the 200 employees I interviewed, Ralph was the only person who said it didn't matter. So naturally, I asked him why that was, and he told me that he recently found out he has stage 4 pancreatic cancer and his health insurance couldn't cover the kind of treatment he needs. Ralph is one of our oldest employees at the Kane Company, and my selfish business practices are limiting him from receiving proper cancer treatment. There are hundreds of similar stories, from people struggling to work 2 jobs to employees being unable to afford appropriate healthcare procedures because of limited finances. No person should have to choose between supporting their family or putting their medical needs first. As the director of Dreamland, I want to protect people like Ralph, because in the end, our employees are our biggest strength. Without them, there will be no Dreamland worthy of the success we have accrued. Therefore, I'm suggesting the minimum wage is raised to meet standards consistent with what we expect from our employees. And what hourly wage do you suggest? Seth Kane speaks up. A 50% raise at the very least. That is an extreme increase given the fact that you voted against the previous wage change. Based on research, top corporations have already made this pledge based on data-driven facts. If we increase wages, we boost efficiency, thus enhancing the overall Dreamland experience for our guests. Why would we need to work on employee satisfaction if we're performing beyond expected each quarter? When I surveyed over 1 million guests during my time here, over 72% of them said Dreamland employees played a key role in their overall experience. On a different question, where they were asked what differentiated the Dreamland experience from competing theme parks, 68% of guests chose the cast member experience. That means regardless of what rides we have, employees are the ones who make the difference. On the flip side, over 50% of our employees said that they would seek a job elsewhere in the next 5 years if Dreamland wages remain the same. Employees' reasons for quitting including an interest in saving up for retirement, a need for affording childcare, a desire to save for their children's college funds, and an interest in receiving better health benefits. By increasing our wages nor improving our company benefits, we are single-handedly giving up our best asset. Our employees are the hidden reason why we stand apart from our competitors, and it's time we treated them as such. Therefore, I stand by my choice to increase wages and reinstate benefits to preserve the future of Dreamland. Martha sits up with a smile. In the past, you've mentioned only being interested in temporarily serving as the director. What happens if we approve these plans and you change your mind again in a year, given the fact that you are the one to cut wages and benefits? Damn, Martha, sheath those claws. My eyes bounce from her to Rowan. I expect annoyance, but I'm nearly put into cardiac arrest by Rowan's small smile. Another good question. The employees of Dreamland will be my utmost priority, given the fact that I plan on remaining here, serving as the director for as long as they'll have me. I almost fall out of my chair. What the is going on here? Rowan's gaze burns into my skin, drawing my eyes back to his. It's at this point that Zara finds out that this is over $25 billion that they're like fighting over, basically. The main reason I'm interested in receiving my shares is because I want to retain enough power to make the best choices for my employees. Dreamland makes up 20% of our entire company's revenue. I can be the kind of director who works to push us to new limits while protecting our employees. I want to be the one. As I said earlier, I've created countless plans with the creators that include expanding Dreamland beyond one park. I have the slides ready to present if you need further evidence to support your decision to approve my change. While I'm interested in renovating the park beyond anything Dreamland has seen before, my first priority is the employees. Martha lifts her wrinkled hand. I would like some clarification on something. The corner of Rowan's lip lifts. Yes? I'm interested in hearing about your plans for employees with disabilities. For the first time during the entire presentation, Rowan's cool exterior cracks. He blinks at Martha, who supports a mischievous smile. I thought you were on his side. I lean in and whisper in her ear. I am, she winks. There's one thing left he hasn't covered. He stops on a slide that has my breath catch, because unlike Ralph's slide, this one has a picture of Annie, my beautiful, larger-than-life sister, who has her arm wrapped around JP's shoulder. This is Annie. She's one of our youngest employees who happens to come come from a family of Dreamland workers. I happened to be partnered with her for a pilot mentorship program. She quickly schooled me in all things Dreamland, including our lack of diversity in the hiring process. I was confused because I know our procedures and how we strive for an ethnically diverse cast. But then Annie told me how these people aren't like her, people with disabilities, both visible and invisible. So during my time, I was supposed to be mentoring Annie. It turns out she mentored me. She taught me what it meant to live a life like hers, and I started doing my own research. So to answer your question, Martha, I plan on expanding our hiring process to include more people with disabilities. I would also like to move forward with a full mentorship program to meet their demands. I want Dreamland to be the first of its kind. This project will be addressed in 3 major phases, starting with the new mentorship program. Once that is complete, I will move forward with a creator project that will emphasize Dreamland's promise for inclusivity. We'll be expanding our costumes and souvenirs to include wheelchair, crutch, and prosthetic accessories to account for the population of children at Dreamland who are often ignored. Additionally, we will emphasize a new promise to families by creating the first ever sensory celebration. This opportunity will give children on the spectrum the ability to enjoy Dreamland. Now, I don't know if you can already tell this, guys, but like I'm welling up, okay? I'm an empath. The way that Lauren Asher wrote that entire speech had me in pieces. Like, I was genuinely crying. I was welling up reading that. I genuinely think it was one of the most beautiful paragraphs. It's not even a paragraph, it's like 5 pages, but I just thought it was gorgeous and so well written, and I fucking loved it. That's what Rowan wants to do with Dreamland. That's what he's doing. Then they vote. After they vote, Zara corners Rowan's dad and just starts fucking ripping the shit out of him. And I'm so here for it. I wanted to say that although you might be considered a good businessman, you've done it at the expense of being a terrible, verbally abusive father. And one day you're going to look back on your life and regret the way you treated your children. And I hope it hurts you as much as you hurt them. So fuck you and fuck off. Clack it! I was still wiping my tears. Bro, I was still trying to heave in breaths. I'm reading Zara do that. It was like emotional whiplash. But I was so here for it. Anyway, we find out that Martha helped Rowan change the presentation last minute, and Rowan's dad tells him that he is proud of him. And we then find out that Rowan did in fact win the vote. He then texts Zara to come round and hear him out, just one last try. And Zara texts back, "I will, but don't get your hopes up," to which Rowan thinks, too late. When my grandfather sent me here as part of his will, I never thought I would meet someone as special as you. It was supposed to be a simple project, but I should have known things wouldn't go according to plan the moment you fell into my lap, quite literally. It's like life kept throwing you in my way, time and time again, hoping I would get the memo. I was too stubborn to realise that you were always meant to be mine, Zara, and because of that I made mistakes. I lied about who I was. I refused to trust you even though I knew deep down I could, and most of all, I pushed you away when you did nothing but open your heart up to me without any reciprocation. I took your love for granted when I should have cherished it, because to be loved by you is a gift, one that I threw away because I was too stupid and selfish to give you that kind of power over me in return. Anyway, she forgives him, they have makeup sex, and it's all cute. And whilst they're like cuddly snuggling in bed after, Rowan admits that he never filed her resignation letter, which is like, Rowan, what the like, he for real was not letting her go. I couldn't let you go. Yeah, well, you can't hold my notice hostage because you felt like it. That's illegal. He shrugs. According to your contract, I can do exactly that until you complete an exit interview with me. That's why you always check the fine print. My lips gape apart. I thought I wasn't special enough for fine print. You're so damn special to me that I don't plan on letting anyone in your vicinity who isn't family or female. I love a possessive boy. That was the end of the book. But not for long. We have an epilogue. They are like unveiling the renovation of the park as husband and wife, and Zara telling Rowan that she is pregnant. Then we get an extended epilogue where we meet Ailey, their daughter, who is picking out her bedtime story. The story she chooses is the one that Rowan wrote about him and Zara falling in love. After the story, Rowan goes outside to sit with Zara, who is pregnant again with Ailey's little brother. And that is actually the end this time, guys. This is my problem. You'll be like, oh, I wonder what she rated it. I wonder what she rated the book. If I finish a book, I immediately rate it 5 stars. I can't help it, okay? If I liked it enough to get to the end, in my books, it is immediately a 5-star read. Okay, so I'm gonna rate it 5 fucking stars. But no, I did really enjoy it. I thought it was such a good book, and I'm so glad that it like lived up to the hype, because I was a bit worried. Sometimes I've tried reading books before that have like gone viral on TikTok, like viral TikTok sensation, and I've got like 2 chapters in and I've gone like and had to stop reading. But no, this was really good, and I am so stinking excited for the next one. So obviously, guys, you know what this means. Next month, we will be reading the second book in the Dreamland Billionaires series, which is called Terms and Conditions. Don't ask me what brother it follows. I can't remember. It is on my shelf up hither. I'm going all the way over there to get it. Don't want to. If you've made it to this point in the video, which I highly doubt you have, thank you for starters. Appreciate it, babe. And yeah, please drop a comment down below on your thoughts and feelings about the book. I would love to hear all your thoughts and feelings, and also drop a like and possibly a subscribe as well, because I put a lot of effort into this and I would really appreciate it. So yeah, love you.